Is this thing on? Okay, it is. Welcome back to another episode of the Bandwagon Sports Show. I'm your host, DaRock, and today we are going to be giving our Week 3 NFL picks. Tough week for me last week. I didn't post a video. I haven't posted a video yet. It's my first picks video of the season, so make sure to let me know how you guys like this format. I go through game by game. I give the lines, the totals. I don't give bets per se, but I do give a score prediction for every game, so you can use that to determine what you want to do. So that's how we're going to do it. If you guys like that way, let me know down below. And while you're down there, make sure to drop a like on the video. Comment, your picks, your thoughts on the video if you're on YouTube. If you're on Spotify, make sure to follow and rate the show. And let's get into it. Alrighty. Welcome back, everybody. If you're joining me here live on Twitch, thank you for tuning in. If you are watching or listening the next day on the Bandwagon Sports YouTube and Spotify channels, thank you for checking us out. So we are here. We're going to do our Week 3 NFL picks. I'm going to try this style here. We'll see how this works out. So as you can see here, I got all the games pulled up. I got myself here. For those of you watching, I'm in the corner here with my green screen. So if you like this format, let me know. And then, like I said, if you're watching live, you can go ahead, drop your picks, drop your takes right along with me here in the chat. So we're going to start first with the Thursday night game here happening tonight. For those of you watching the next morning here on Thursday, the New England Patriots, 1-1. They head to the New York Jets, who are also 1-1. The Jets are 6.5-point favorites in this one, with an over-under currently set at 38.5. So Jets, it's kind of been, a tale of 2 weeks. They didn't look great week 1, but then had a nice win last week on the road against Tennessee. Patriots, they actually looked really good week 1, opposite of the Jets, against Cincinnati. Good win, didn't expect them to win that game. But then, kind of came back down to earth, lost at home in overtime to Seattle. It's hard for me to pick against Aaron Rodgers when he's playing well, when he's playing an inferior opponent like he is this week in New England. So I'm going to go with the Jets to win this one. And my score prediction, sorry if I can find my mouse here, there we go. My score prediction for this one is going to be Jets 24, Patriots 17. I'm more just picking winners, but then I'm going to drop scores for everyone. I have a article with all my scores that comes out on the Blitz Sports Media page every week, so that's kind of what I have to make the scores for, but I'm more just picking winners here, and then the scores I just kind of pick based on, like spreads, totals, stuff like that. So for me, I went with 24-17 Jets. I think the Jets win this one. Then we move on to the next game, starting here on Sunday on Fox at 1 Eastern, noon Central. The 0-2 New York Giants head to the 1-1 Cleveland Browns. Cleveland is a 6.5-point favorite with the total set at 38.5. Oh, let's be honest. The Giants, they're one of the worst teams in all the NFL. I don't expect much of them at all last week. They lost a game without giving up a touchdown. But they got their kicker injured, so that's why they ended up losing. The Browns, they didn't look great week 1 against the Cowboys, but they bounced back last week. Good win on the road against Jacksonville. I actually picked Jacksonville in that one, so the Browns surprised me a little bit. I'm going to go with the Browns to win this one as well. I also think they cover the spread. I'm going Browns 21-14. I think they keep the good times rolling, and especially just they're playing one of the worst teams in the league, so that makes things easy for me. Next noon game, we got the Bears, the 1-1 Chicago Bears heading on the road to Indianapolis, taking on the 0-2 Colts. The Colts are 1-point favorite in this game, and the over-under set at 43.5. So let's be honest, Caleb Williams has really not looked great to start his career. They found a way to win in week 1, scoring, only defensive touchdowns, defensive special teams touchdowns. And then, the Bears defense once again kept them in the game last week. Like, they have a really good defense. But just Houston was too much to handle. Bears struggled against Houston. Houston's, one of the best teams in the league, so understandable. The Colts now 0-2. They also lost to Houston. Probably played Houston even more competitively than the Bears did. They were right in it till the stretch there. But then they lose to Green Bay, who was starting Malik Willis. Granted, the Colts and Packers are on opposite end of the spectrum. The Colts haven't won a home opener in 10 years. Where then the Packers now have won their home opener 12 straight years. So they got on the bad end of 2 streaks right there. While the Colts are favored, I'm actually going to go with the Bears in this one. I think Caleb Williams is a better quarterback than Anthony Richardson. Richardson, a lot of hype for him. People are high on him. I just haven't seen it so far, and to be honest, I don't really trust the Colts defense as much. So I'm gonna go with the Bears to take this one. I think it is gonna be a 1-point game. I'm going with Bears to win 21-20. And then yeah, like I said, if you're watching on Twitch, man, make sure if you guys got any picks, drop them in the chat or whatever takes you got. Moving on to the next game now, we got the 2-0 Texans, who I just mentioned. They head to Minnesota, who take on also the surprisingly 2-0 Minnesota Vikings. Over-under for this game set at 46, and Houston is a 2.5-point favorite. So Vikings, a little surprising, they have seemed to have the 49ers number lately, and Sam Darnold is playing really well here in the stretch run to start here, really stepping up for the injured J.J. McCarthy. I mean, they still got, they got weapons, but we'll see if Jefferson's healthy. Aaron Jones has been solid. He's been playing well for the Vikings so far. So they're a good team. They're definitely exceeding expectations. They're going to be competitive here in the NFC North. But like I just mentioned, I think Houston's one of the best teams in the league. They're led by C.J. Stroud. Now they got these new weapons and, Stephon Diggs, Joe Mixon, who have looked really well on top of Nico Collins. Nico Collins had a great game on Sunday Night Football. I do think this is going to be a close one. It's hard to go on the road in the NFL. Minnesota, tough place to play. I think they keep it close, but I'm going to go Texans to take it 24-23. Then we move on. Two kind of shocking ones here. This is not what I saw coming, though. 1-1 Philadelphia Eagles taking on the 2-0 New Orleans Saints at noon on Fox. The Saints in this one are 3.5-point favorite with an over/under set at 49.5. And like I was just kind of saying, coming into this matchup, before the season, I would have thought, these records would be flipped. I would have thought, Eagles would be 2-0. They honestly should have been. They blew that game against Atlanta, and that the Saints would probably be 1-1. I thought Dallas was a pretty good team. Dallas looked really good against Cleveland in Week 1. But the Saints, man, they've been balling. Derek Carr's been playing really well. Alvin Kamara, big game last week with 4 touchdowns. And Raheed Shaheed has been playing really well. They've been finding him a lot. Chris Olave, not off to the best start, but that's what I'm saying. Just wait till he gets going. That could really make things spicy. And then the Eagles, man, they blow that game against Atlanta on Monday night. Jalen Hurts didn't look great Week 1 against the Packers, but definitely looked better on Monday night. But Saquon Barkley, man, after having 3 touchdowns first game, didn't get the end zone, dropped the ball late. That ended up having Atlanta be able to have the time to go down, score, win the game. Honestly, in that situation, I don't know why you're throwing the ball. Like, just run the ball. You have Saquon Barkley and Jalen Hurts, 2 of the best rushers in the league. Like, just take the time off the clock. They got too cute with it. I do that all the time in NCAA football, so I guess I can't talk too much, but that's one of those where you just got to know you have the game in hand. Just run the clock out. You don't need to, get fancy, get cute with it. So that's just kind of my big kind of concern with Philadelphia here. Like, we saw it down the stretch last year. Like, they just kind of faded away. Lost some games that they very easily should have won. So now going to the Superdome, tough place to play as well. I think the Saints keep it rolling. I think they keep their hot start going. I'm going to go with the Saints to win this one. I'm going to go 28-21 as my score prediction. Then we move on to the Chargers. The 2-0 Chargers taking on the 2-0 Steelers. Probably not teams that people thought would both be 2-0 heading into the year, especially Justin Fields has been the one leading the way for the Steelers so far, as Russell Wilson's still been out injured. Sounds like Fields will probably go again here once again on Sunday. For the Steelers, though, what the difference has been, it really has been their defense that's been making the big plays. Like I said, the first game, they didn't score a single touchdown, but Justin Fields took care of the ball. They moved the ball downfield offensively, got into field goal range. Chris Boswell, 6 for 6. I mean, especially seeing how Justin Tucker's kind of fallen off, Chris Boswell should be in the argument for one of the better kickers, more accurate kickers in the league. So Pittsburgh, their defense has been what's really kind of holding them so far. Chargers, on the other hand, really good offense. Like a new coach, Jim Harbaugh here. He's really been dialing things up. J.K. Dobbins really been unlocked in this offense. Good to see now, kind of new change of scenery coming from Baltimore over to the Chargers. But like I said, it's kind of clash styles here, offense versus defense. Pittsburgh's surprisingly, maybe to some, a 1.5-point favorite in this game with the over-under set at 36. I think this game goes over, but I think the Steelers win. I think their defense steps up. They hold the Chargers, and I'm going to go with the Steelers to win 20-17 in this one. Maybe a bit of a homer pick, but like I said, they are actually the favorites, and I think that might be a popular underdog pick for some people, but I'm going to go against everyone. I'm going to go with the Steelers. I'm going to ride my team. They're playing in Heinz Field. They haven't been as, dominated Heinz Field past couple years, but I still think tough place to play. Give me the Steelers. Then 2 more noon games here to go. We have the 0-2 Broncos heading to the 2-0 Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Bucs are 6.5-point favorites with an over-under set at 40. Buccaneers, man, Baker Mayfield has been one of the better quarterbacks in the league to start. I mean, such a resurgence for him after, he got cut by Carolina, had that kind of stretch at the end there in 2022 for the Rams that got him this Buccaneers contract last year, led him to the playoffs, won a playoff game, and he is just keeping going right where he's left off. I mean, he's loaded with weapons. He's got, Mike Evans, future first ballot Hall of Famer. Chris Godwin's been playing really well. So I really like the Bucs. The Broncos, on the other hand, like I said, watched a lot of the Broncos last week against the Steelers. Did not look great. Bo Nix has been okay, like average at best. Just honestly, just how their offense has been moving the ball. I mean, their first game they had a lot of safeties. That's like what kept them in the game. Multiple safeties. So I think this Tampa Bay offense is just gonna be too much for the Denver defense. So I'm gonna go with the Bucs to win this one, and I'm gonna go 24-14 as my score prediction. Moving on here to the final noon game, we have the 1-1 Packers at the 0-2 Titans. Tennessee is 1.5-point favorites in this one with an over-under set at 38 points. So let's be honest. Will Levis, very fun player. He was fun at Kentucky, but oh my, has he made some very bad mistakes with the football, and it has led to some horrible screenshots. I mean, week 1 he had that toss, pitch interception that the Bears pick off, take for a touchdown. Levis instantly falls to his knees, hands on his head, falls to his knees. Then last week in the red zone, he's trying to keep a play going, full dive, trying to lateral the ball instead of avoiding a sack. Even his coach is what the heck are you doing? So not great decision so far from Will Levis. The Packers, Malik Willis did enough last week to get the job done. This is a revenge game for him if he plays. However, it is sounding like Jordan Love could potentially be back for this game. I think that would be crazy. I don't know how you can bounce back from that injury just only missing 1 game. But like I said, last week they did enough to get it done. The Packers, they have a pretty good solid defense as well. So I kind of think they hold Tennessee in this game. I know they are going on the road, but last week I kind of rode Tennessee at home. They were my DaRock's dog on Twitter, if you follow me on Twitter. I'm not going to get burned twice. I'm going to go with the Packers to win this one. I'm going to go Packers 24-14. Now we get to the later slate at 4:05 on CBS. The 0-2 Carolina Panthers go to the 1-1 Las Vegas Raiders. The Raiders are 5-point favorites in this one with an over-under set at 40. Bryce Young has already been benched. This might be record time. 18, 19 starts, whatever it is, into his NFL career. He's been benched. They're going with Andy Dalton this week in Carolina. And just honestly, that team's just not good. They got blown out by the Saints. They got beaten down by the Chargers last week. Meanwhile, on the other hand, the Raiders, they go into Baltimore, win a game that they probably not had no business, but they did a good job. They stuck around in the game, and then they were able to pounce late, take advantage of their opportunity. So, I mean, I'm pretty high on Baltimore still. I know they are 0-2 now, but I still think Baltimore is one of the better teams in the AFC. I think they'll be a playoff team, competing against the Chiefs once again. And the Raiders just beat them. The Raiders have a tendency to do this. They beat the Chiefs late in the year last year. They beat the Ravens. They can beat these good teams. So that makes me think if you can beat and be competitive with these top teams in the AFC, you got to be able to beat a crappy team like Carolina. Honestly, Carolina's so bad, I don't even know if their fans will travel to Vegas. The Raiders, kind of their home field advantage is almost non-existent just because so many visiting fans now come. If you're a Panthers fan, why the heck would you want to go to this game? The only chance I would see the Panthers maybe winning this game was if it was a home game and it was at noon. So sometimes these West Coast teams, they don't play so great playing in the noon games. But I just don't think Carolina any chance to win this game. I'm going with the Raiders to win it, and I'm going 24-10. Now we move on to the 1-1 Dolphins heading to Seattle to take on the 2-0 Seahawks. Seattle is a 4.5-point favorite in this game with the over-under set at 41.5. So for me, Seattle really hasn't looked great. They squeak out that win against Denver. They win in overtime last week against New England. But the main thing in this, the Dolphins got killed last week, and they lost their quarterback Tua Tagovailoa. So they're going back to Skylar Thompson, who has played for them before. But going on the road, no Tua, I just don't know how much faith I have in this Dolphins team. Seattle's got playmakers themselves, in DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Kenneth Walker. So, Geno Smith, they wrote him off. He didn't write back. He's looked solid. He's looked solid to start the season here. I think he can lead Seattle here at home. He's got the 12th man behind him. I'm going to go with the Seahawks to win this one 24-20. Now we have the 325 games. The 1-1 Detroit Lions head to the desert, taking on the 1-1 Arizona Cardinals. Detroit's a 3-point favorite in this one with the over-under set at 51.5. Cardinals, man, they blew the Rams out of the water last week. We'll get to the Rams in a second here. Kyler Murray's played really well. They unlocked Marvin Harrison last week. I mean, I think he could really be up there. Have a chance to win Rookie of the Year. Because none of Caleb Williams or Jaden Daniels have looked insane so far. So if Harrison can have more games like he had last week, I think he definitely can be up there. So Detroit, Tampa Bay got their revenge on them last week. And Detroit did this last year too. They started out 1-0, big win week 1. Last year it was they knocked off the Chiefs on that season opening game. This year, they were ahead, but then we're trailing, then come up from behind, win at home against the Rams. When Matthew Stafford comes into the building, that place can be fired up. They can't lose that game. But then they let Tampa Bay get their revenge on them because Detroit knocked Tampa Bay out of the playoffs in Detroit last year. So once again, they kind of fall. They fall after having a good start. I really liked what I saw from Arizona last week. I mean, these two teams have common opponent. They both played the Rams, both beaten the Rams. Detroit kind of struggled a little bit. Arizona beat the brakes off them. Granted, I know no Puka, and then Cooper Kupp got injured last game too. And by no means is the transitive property a thing in football. But I'm going to go with the Cardinals. I'm going to have that as one of my upset picks this week. At home, like I said, East Coast team going out west. Not as big of a difference, but still a different time change. Dry heat there in Arizona. So I'm going to go with the Cardinals to win this one. And I'm going to go 31-27. Now we go to America's Game of the Week. The 0-2 Baltimore Ravens head to Jerry's World, taking on the 1-1 Dallas Cowboys. Baltimore's a 1-point favorite in this game with the over-under set at 48.5. And for me, like I said earlier, the Ravens, very, very disappointing loss for them last week. We're ahead in that game, just never put the Raiders away. They could have very easily won the game against Kansas City too, but Lamar didn't, before the likely the Chiefs get bailed, he just didn't get his feet down in bounds. Like I didn't understand the Chiefs bail argument for that game, and Lamar missed some throws right before that. Dallas on the other hand, Dax looked solid, he's looked fine. They beat Cleveland, but then like I said, upstart Saints knock off the Cowboys last week. I'm gonna go with Baltimore to finally get in the win column. Like I said, they've been right there their first 2 games. Dallas, like I said, was really high on them after week 1, but then kind of got handled last week. I think Baltimore can maybe do that to them again, so I'm going to go with the Ravens to win this one 27-24. Then our final here Sunday day game, we got the 1-1 49ers heading to the Rams, who are now 0-2. San Francisco's a 7.5-point favorite in this one with the total set at 44.5. So sadly for the 49ers, they've been missing Christian McCaffrey. He's placed on IR now. Deebo Samuel's also going to miss a couple weeks. So it's kind of getting crunch time. Good thing, they have Ayuk back. They still got George Kittle. Jordan Mason played really well week 1. So the 49ers still have some weapons. The Rams, on the other hand, like I said, no Puka, no Cooper Kupp. I think it's really going to make things difficult for them. They haven't really looked good these first 2 games. So I'm going to go with the Niners. I think they bounce back. Like I said, they just don't really play the Vikings well. The Vikings seem to have their number lately. So I'm going to go the Rams. I'm going to go 49ers. They bounce back. Give me San Francisco win this one 28-17. Now moving on to the Sunday night game. We have the 2-0 Kansas City Chiefs heading to the 1-1 Atlanta Falcons. Kansas City, they're a 3.5-point favorite in this one with the total set at 46.5. So Kansas City, like I just mentioned, they've kind of squeaked out 2 wins here. Baltimore's driving on them late, but just couldn't get in the end zone, so they hold on to win week 1 season opener. Last week, I'm not going to say questionable call. It was the right call, but a little bit controversial. That was a big. The Chiefs get bailed crowd very loud. But to be honest, like I said, it's the right call. It's the right call. I want to see that called. My more thing is I have a little bit feeling of if roles were reversed just because the game was in Kansas City. If it was Cincinnati throwing the ball deep down the field, for a chance to win the game there, I'm not sure Cincinnati gets that call. But that's neither here nor there. They don't play the games as hypotheticals. They play the games on the field. Atlanta, really good win on Monday, taking a victory from the jaws of defeat. Kirk Cousins didn't look great week 1 against the Steelers, but really bounced back on Monday night, led a great game-winning drive, finding different guys. Drake London had the touchdown to steal, but, he was really connecting with Darnell Mooney. And he's also had a really good connection with Ray McCloud so far. So, Kirk's been dealing. Like the Falcons, they were my pick to win the NFC South for the season. Like I said, didn't look great week 1. And now, New Orleans and Tampa Bay have looked really good. So I'm a little torn. I don't know who I'm going to go with anymore, but that doesn't matter. We're picking here the game, not division winners. And for me, I'm going to go with Kansas City. I don't think they cover that. I think it's going to be a close game. Kansas City, they always on these primetime games seem to play close games. I don't know. I just remember that Jets, when they played the Jets on Sunday Night Football last year, they went on some long drive at the end of the game, just kind of iced the clock rather than, kind of scoring more. So I think it's going to be a close game. They think that 3.5 point spread's good. I'm going to go with Kansas City to win 24-21. Now we have a Monday night doubleheader here. This should be a lot of fun. First game, we have the 0-2 Jacksonville Jaguars heading to the 2-0 Buffalo Bills at 7:30 Eastern on ESPN. Buffalo's a 5.5 point favorite in this one with the total set at 44.5. Josh Allen, man, he's been slinging the rock around. He's looked really good these first 2 games. They came from behind against Arizona, came from down, I believe it was 18 or something, 18 or 20, and then they just beat the brakes off the Dolphins last week. The Jags, on the other hand, Trevor Lawrence hasn't looked as great as I thought he would. I really thought they were going to win that game last week against Cleveland, and they were not able to pull it out. So now they play an even better team in Buffalo, and I just don't really see any reason why they would win this game. I think Buffalo's just the better team. I have not been impressed with Jacksonville so far. So this is a pretty easy pick for me. I'm going to go with the Bills to win this one, and I'm going to go 28-20. And then wrapping it up, final pick here, week 1, we got the Washington Commanders, 1-1, heading to the 0-2 Cincinnati Bengals. This game's going to be at 8:15 Eastern on ABC. Bengals are 7.5 point favorites, and over-under set at 47. So, like I mentioned, the Commanders won a game on Sunday against the Giants, scoring 7 field goals. 21 points, but not 3 touchdowns, 7 field goals. Bengals, on the other hand, they went toe-to-toe and went head-to-head with the best team in the AFC, and they just came up short. They played the Chiefs really well. And, after not a great performance week 1, and then they just miss out last week, they find themselves 0-2. I really think this one they step up. Think, Joe Burrow, he's going to have another really good game again. He didn't look great week 1, but looked a lot better last week. Jane Daniels has looked okay. Like I said, kind of like Caleb Williams. Neither of them have looked great, but they've looked fine. So I just like the Bengals this one. I think they're a better team. They got the better quarterback. Give me the Bengals to win this one, 27-20. Thank you so much for watching. That's going to wrap it up here for my week 3 picks. If you are watching on YouTube, make sure to drop a like, comment your picks down below, and subscribe. If you're on Spotify, make sure to follow and rate the show. It helps out a lot. If you're here on Twitch, make sure to stick with me. We're going to move on to the second part of the stream. But if you're watching or listening the next day on Spotify and YouTube, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace.